not ripped off by shady lenders. And we're providing more tools and resources for students and families trying to finance college. And then, by the way, high school seniors, you guys want to start figuring this stuff out, go to studentaid.gov. That's the website, studentaid.gov. And I'll give you a sense of what's available out there. We took action to cap loan repayments at 10% of monthly income for a lot of borrowers. We're trying to pay the debt, but we sort of in a responsible way. So overall, we've made college more affordable for millions of students and families through tax credits and grants and student loans. And just a few weeks ago, Democrats and Republicans worked together to keep student loan rates from going. And that saves a typical undergraduate more than $1,500 for this year's loans. So, that's all a good start, but it's not enough. The system we have right now is unsustainable. Because if it keeps on going up 250% a year, your incomes are only going up 16%, not 250% a year, over a decade, but your incomes are only going up 16%. It's just, at a certain point, it'll break the bank. There won't be enough federal aid to make up for the difference. And families at a certain point aren't going to be able to send their kids to school. And state legislatures, they can't just keep cutting support for public colleges and universities. Colleges